Baba-booey.
Penis.
I think we're good to go. So
Wiener.
Oh, god damn it. I hate you. I hate you for that. Literally, if audience, I'm gonna leave this to the will of the people. If someone PayPal's me $1, I'll go to jail by killing Logan.
Let's get the show on the road.
Do you even have a PayPal set up?
I have a Venmo.
You have the one thing I don't have.
Well, listen.
Actually, I don't think I have Venmo either because it wouldn't work for me.
That's weird.
It is weird.
I only got it recently because I had to fucking pay my brother for something. But, welcome to the Bloomfeld podcast. It's the podcast about nothing. And, sometimes, no, it's never about anything. However, big announcement. Ladies, gentlemen, you other fuckers. We're proud to announce the devs have been hard at work, and it is finally here. The long-awaited Bloomfeld podcast sex update is here. Very proud of this. The devs have been hard at work. They've just been headbutting the wall, and they finally made a breakthrough.
Oh, man. I need to watch my feet
salt.
slip.
What does this mean for our audience? What does this mean for the podcast? Literally fucking nothing.
I mean, you can't see
we'll fuck each other live on camera.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, no, we spoke with the CEO of Sex, and he now sponsors this podcast.
Hell yeah.
You know, it's a.
I don't know how we pulled that, considering all three of us, besides one of us, has had sex. So hasn't had sex. Shit. English is hard, goddammit.
I don't think the sentence makes any more sense when you reversed it.
Listen.
And look, all you gotta know is one of us may or may not have possibly, who knows, maybe had sex.
I had to pull a lot of strings and call in a lot of favors for the CEO of Sex to, sponsor a sexless podcast. But
and let's start there. How did you get into contact with the CEO of Sex?
Well, you see, the moment you complete having one sex, his number just magically appears in your phone.
It's like a GTA character. It just whenever it's like, here, you have their number now. I was like, oh,
yeah,
shit, there they
like
are.
Lamar, he's like, hey, homie, call me if you need work. And I'm like, cool, I'll never do that, but noted.
I'm looking forward to when in GTA 6 we have to manually put in contacts.
I thought
Aren't you?
I thought you were gonna say GTA 6
hell.
where you manually have to slide your dick into the prostitute with like the touch.
I mean
pad.
that too. I'm really looking forward to that one. But
no.
Listen, all I'm saying is we need to have motion controls in the PS5 controller and have the touchpad to really take prostitution to the next level in GTA 6.
I'm sure the PS5 controller has motion controls.
It probably does. I don't fucking know.
Are you proposing that we somehow get Sony to create a fleshlight add-on for the PS5 controller?
No, I'm not saying it needs a fleshlight add-on. I'm not opposed to it, keep in mind, but I mean, I'm just saying, I think you should be able to, have motion controls so you can hold your controller, in that weird angles and shit to try to hit the G-spot.
Move the controller in a way where you're, pushing their head down.
I'm not talking about fucking your own controller.
I mean, the DualShock 4 had motion controls that were criminally underused, much like every other PlayStation system that had motion controls. So, considering all the junk that's in the DualShock 5, or the DualSense controller, I'm saying whatever the fuck.
The DualSense.
It has to have motion controls of some sort. In fact, no, it does, because if you play that if you play Astro's Playroom, I'm pretty sure you have to use the controller to steer while you're using the rocket boots.
I mean, I was kind of a big fan in Infamous Second Son where you had to, jerk off the PS4 controller to shake up the can whenever you're spray painting the wall. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, and you had to slap it. You had to slap it to, a flashlight. Like you smack the butt of a flashlight. You had to do that with the controller when in Uncharted 4. And I would say... If you want to talk about jerking off controllers, Nate, well, besides that one Mario Party minigame where you shake the soda can,
well, you're just jerking off the Wii. There is no way around that.
I'll tell you one that's way worse is No More Heroes, because that's literally how you build up power, is jerking off.
Well, man, yeah, you're just like...
I
remember,
power.
I think I saw that.
I both simultaneously really want to and really don't want to play No More Heroes because of that. Just because it looks hilarious.
I mean, isn't that
We
the
should play
game where you
Mario
take
Party.
a shit to save your game?
Take a shit to save your game? Yeah. Actually, I know a game where you take a shit to change characters.
That's a good one.
Boys, do we know what we're talking about today? Because we have a multitude of things to talk about, and I feel like we can talk about the one we had planned before. But if we want to talk about recent events, that's also an option. Either way, it's gonna be an interesting episode.
I mean, yeah.
I think the main two contenders would probably either be the movie review or the talking about like the event we did over the weekend. I probably would vote movie review just while it's still kind of fresh in our brains before it stops being relevant, which will not take that much longer, to be honest.
Striking while the iron's hot. I'm down for sure.
I mean, the movie's still very relevant, despite the fact that
Yes.
it feels like modern media gets out of style, or like gets out of at least really big, in pop culture way quicker than it used to. But it's
Because
still
people have no
very
attention
relevant.
span anymore.
I mean, very true. But still
Literally-
very relevant, though.
Keep in mind that there's millions of people where the only way they can get dopamine now is to watch TikToks where it's a Family Guy clip and Subway Surfer footage at the same time.
And then
Like,
there's someone doing
these-
a movie review up at the top.
These people are
Yes.
performing digital lobotomies to themselves.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be the old man here, and I really don't like that. It's distracting. It's like, why is the clip cut in half?
Yeah, I
don't
know.
I hate it. I mean, granted, I
But at
hate
the same
everything about
time-
TikTok, but
At the same time, if it's some kind of like epic play, I'm also distracted. It's like, yo, that's kind of fire, but this isn't why I originally stayed for this video.
I mean, I think it was in the words of Schlatt. It's like, what the fuck am I supposed to be looking at here?
yeah, it's a fucking nightmare. Anyway, I guess we should stop being so cryptic because we haven't even said we saw the Mario movie. Like every fucking other person on the planet has at this point. It's made like $1 billion.
In the box
Yeah,
office, like first
holy
week,
shit.
I think.
Yeah.
It has become the highest grossing animated movie in the United States and is on its way to be the highest grossing animated movie ever. In fact, it may even be I think it's close to being the highest grossing movie period, which I think at this point is,
That plumber son of a bitch.
let's see, what was it? It's either Endgame or Avatar at this point, right?
Yeah.
That are the highest moneymakers of all time.
I mean,
Yeah.
Endgame was
I think
like
it's
massive.
getting close. I think it's close to the top 10.
Yeah, Endgame was like a massive
Yeah.
box office, nuke type of deal.
Pretty, like-
As far as
money-wise.
Top
far
five
as
pretty
animated
much
movie
consists
goes-
of like Avatar, Avatar 2, Endgame, and Infinity War. That's like 4 of the top 5.
Let me take a look. Because I saw it was about to pass Lion King, or at least it's on its way to, which I think is still the highest grossing animated film. Because, live action remake is still animated. What?
It's fucking
take a look.
disgusting. Like I guess while you're looking that up, I'll go on the brief tangent of how much I hate fucking live action remakes. Just like everybody
Yes.
else does. Really, it's an extremely cold take, but I'm gonna scream it to the fucking heavens anyway. It's dumb, and the only reason that Disney is doing it is just to preserve IP. That's literally fucking it.
I will say this: it's not even the fact that they're live action remakes for me. It's just the fact that they're remaking shit that already exists anyway. It's much better.
I've actually seen the live action remake of The Lion King. Here's the thing though, is I saw it in French because we watched it in my high school French class. So I can't really give the most accurate review of that movie because I don't remember much of anything.
Have you seen the original Lion King?
Yeah, of course. Of
1994?
course, I've seen the
Okay.
original.
Well, you'd be surprised who hasn't these days. I knew a person I was really close with who never saw it. I was like, what the fuck? Anyway, I was gonna say if you remember the original animated movie quite well, then that's just the live action remake. But
Yeah,
it's
I know.
worse.
But yes, it is
So it's
worse,
like
and I
shit.
didn't understand the dialogue.
In fact, it was probably a more beneficial experience for you to watch it in a different language than it was to watch it in English. It probably kept your attention for longer.
Kinda. Not really.
So, yeah. So as far as animated films go, yeah, it's Lion King remake at 1.6 billion worldwide gross, whereas Mario has just crossed 1 billion. So it is currently at the number 10 spot.
Damn.
If you guys want me to read the rest of them in between Lion King and Mario,
I mean, we could.
just to get an idea.
It's not necessarily relevant to the review, though.
No, I was just curious because there's a. I just wanted to
You're
point out how
not
Toy Story
relevant
4
to the
is
review.
above It's above Toy Story 3, and I don't like that.
If I'm not relevant to the review, that's great. That means I get to take the night off.
Also, how is Despicable Me in this list? What?
Hey, it's a good movie.
No, I'm sorry. Let me correct myself. Despicable Me 3.
Yeah, the first one's questionable.
And the Minions movie's number 5.
Oh, hell yeah.
Listen, 2 words, white women. That's all I got for you.
I don't even know. I don't even know. No, I know. Whatever. It's gone. So, fellas, let's talk about the Mario movie. Let's talk about, like...
It's a Mario?
Where were you that fateful day in the fall in 2021 when they made the announcement?
I mean, I don't remember what I was doing. Probably jack shit like always. And then I saw the cast. I'm like, some of these are cool, others are very questionable. And I was like, meh, I don't really give a fuck. Because, just fair warning, audience, I just don't give a shit about Mario.
I was in class when it got revealed. And it was either Tuesday evening or Thursday evening. I was in my math class. It was my first semester at college. And I had the Nintendo Direct playing on my phone to the right of my laptop screen when I was in class during lecture. The second I saw they were talking about the Mario movie, I was like, oh shit. And, they start talking about Illumination and everything, stuff we already knew. And they said, let's get a look at the cast. And I thought, oh, great, this is cool. I wonder what's going to happen here. Because, obviously we knew at this point Charles Martinet wasn't going to be Mario or Luigi, So I was like, well, let's see what they did. The second I saw Chris Pratt, let me tell you, I had to turn off my camera and stand up and laugh my fucking ass off because I was taken aback. I did not think for a second Chris Pratt would ever be Mario in my entire fucking life. Granted, I wouldn't have known anyone else to get as Mario if you weren't getting Charles. So it was like, okay, let's see what happens. And then the rest of the cast goes rolling in, and there were some that made me smile. It was Charlie Day as Luigi in particular, Jack Black as Bowser. I was like, holy shit, that's really cool. And then others that I wasn't too aware of, like Anya Taylor-Joy as Peach. I wasn't really familiar with her work, so I didn't know what to make of that one. And then there was Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong and Keegan-Michael Key as Toad. I thought, okay, I know Keegan-Michael Key is a very talented actor and comedic, so it's like, that's fine. I could see that working. And then Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong. What the fuck?
I mean,
I was so taken aback by the whole thing. It felt like I was dreaming. I honestly thought I was asleep when that happened.
I mean,
what about you, Nate?
I just to this day, the words "he's so cool" are forever ingrained in my head every time I think about Chris Pratt being Mario.
Jesus Christ.
That is true.
So
Those
cool.
were Miyamoto's exact words.
Yeah.
He is so cool.
My reaction was just, okay, so we have Star-Lord as Mario, we have fucking Charlie Kelly as Luigi, we have Pretty Chess Woman as Princess Peach, we have the living legend Jack Black as Bowser, and then we have Funny Laugh Man as the monkey.
We got Tenacious B.
And then half of Key and Peele as Toad, so I was just like, okay then.
It was really shocking, and they did get some pretty familiar voice actors as well for the movie, such as Kevin Michael Richardson as the Magic Koopa. I thought that was really cool. Charles Martinet's in the film as 2 characters, not very important characters, but they're in there.
He's Giuseppe from the pizza shop.
Yeah, Giuseppe, which is just Jumpman from Donkey Kong, and he's also Mario and Luigi's dad, which I thought was a nice touch. So I'd imagine much like everybody else, you guys, well, Dylan already said he was indifferent, but I imagine me and Nathan were both sickeningly curious, but also like, oh God, what's going to happen with this movie? What are they going to do?
For me, it was mostly, my reaction was, okay, I don't like Illumination like a lot of people do. I think that, unless it's like Despicable Me, honestly, most of their work is fairly mediocre. But then, I don't know, I kind of came around because, like, well, they're just doing the animation, and their animation looks pretty decent, and also, it's, it's Nintendo, or whoever Nintendo hires is going to do the writing, so, that's okay. And after that, the voice cast, I thought, other than, like, the ones I thought were exceptional, like Jack Black and Charlie Day, the rest I was like, all right, I could kind of see that. I think that'll be fun. And then there was Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt was the one. He was everybody's curveball, clearly. But for me, it was such a huge eyebrow raise. Like, that doesn't feel right for some reason. And I got nothing against Chris Pratt, really. I know there's some people out there that do for, personal reasons. We're not really getting into that today. We're not that kind of podcast. But, I don't know. For some reason, I was really afraid about him, like, phoning in the role. And also, it did not help that some of the trailers, it really felt like some of the trailers they're releasing before the movie came out was like his worst line takes. Like, some of the screams or whatnot, like from the, the training bits and whatnot. That was a little bit less than desirable.
He sounds very bored, very uninterested.
Yeah, I feel like there could have been a bit more skank on some of his lines. I think that was something that they, could have changed a little bit in the... the voice director could have had some more pull on something like that. But, overall, though, I think it was actually a much better performance than I was expecting. Still a little odd, though. And for some reason, I was kind of okay with Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong. I know a lot of people are kind of miffed about that. That was odd, but I thought it would be hilarious, and it definitely was.
I think the weirdest one, like the most disheartening part about Pratt as Mario, when it comes to like his dedication to the role or how interested he was actually as soon as they revealed the cast, they had I'm pretty sure this was in the same Nintendo Direct, where they actually had the actors talk a bit, about being in the movie. And it felt like he was very unprepared, almost like simultaneously reading off a script, but he also had nothing to work with. Because I'm pretty sure you've seen the video, Nate. Is like, I spent hours of my life stomping Koopas. Like, it seemed like, and I have no doubt that Pratt grew up playing Super Mario Brothers on the NES. What man or woman, person, human, dog, cat, dust bunny at his age didn't play Super Mario Brothers? Everyone in the 80s, in the mid 80s, late 80s played Mario. I just feel like he's definitely one of those guys who probably played Mario, maybe plays it with his kids, but he's not, he's not a gamer, and that's fine. He doesn't have to be. That wasn't a requirement. A lot of people gave him shit for that, but to me, it's like, okay, he forgot what they're called, and that's fine. But it made everyone a little uneasy. He's like, man, he doesn't even know they're called Koopas. It's like, does he even really give a shit about the movie? I don't know. So I think that people were just uneasy, and the negative reaction, like instant negative reaction, caused them to really downplay Pratt in the trailers and the promotional material. Because there's a lot of promotional material pre-Mario movie that doesn't even involve Pratt. I think about how, like, IGN, was it, that had them play Mario Kart, and they played with, like, Jacksepticeye and all that. I don't think Pratt's in either of those. I think it was just Charlie Day, Keegan-Michael Key, and Jack Black.
Yeah.
Because I think those three in particular had the most positive reaction. Because, Charlie and Jack Black in particular, I can't speak for Keegan-Michael Key because I'm not as familiar with his stuff. But, although he is, I know for a fact due to Key and Peele that he's hilarious. He's a great actor. I know that people probably had the most faith in Charlie and Jack Black is because they've probably done the most animated works and have, like, that kind of very goofy air about them. So it's like, oh, they can definitely do voice acting and put on a very stunning performance. And to me, like we said before, Jack Black is Bowser. Holy shit. I mean, honestly, in a roundabout way, that's one of those things we really didn't know that we needed, because that's honestly perfect casting. Because you look at, like, Bowser and the RPGs and stuff, like when he actually has a personality, And he's very rock and roll, full of himself, like very goofy ass type of dude. And that fits Jack Black perfectly in terms of his acting style, because the dude knows how to make a goofball who knows how to rock, but has also got a bit of an ego problem. Because, he's played that character several times in his movies. Jack, I just think it was a genius idea. The rest of the cast, outside of Charlie and Jack, again, I was either cautiously optimistic about, didn't know anything about, or just confused. So when the trailer started finally coming out, I definitely felt, like Nate said, like Chris Pratt's lines weren't hitting, because it felt like they just weren't using good takes. And I was like, man, if this is what it sounds like in the final movie, that's very underwhelming. Especially like the wahoo on the Rainbow Road. I remember that from the first trailer. I was like, man, that is not energetic at all. But, as the trailers kept coming out and we started seeing more and more footage and seeing the characters, I thought, okay, maybe this won't be so bad. It's like, I'm still going to see the movie. I was always going to see it because, the first Mario movie since the god-awful 1993 one, of course I'm going to go see it. I was still a little reserved. And then when the film came out, by the time, like the week before the film came out, I was actually really excited to go see it. And then I went and saw it, and I rather liked it. I think that the next one, whenever they make the sequel, I feel like that has a lot of room to make things better, as we'll get into. But for a first attempt in 30 years, I think they did a pretty damn good job. Do you guys want to start with the plot, or do you just want to kind of get into the final movie? What were your first impressions? Because it's been a while since we did one of these movie reviews.
Yeah. Well, for one thing, we should definitely keep the review of the summary of the plot short, because we always fuck that up, especially me.
Well, hey, to be fair with this one though, it's fairly short. There's really not a lot of the plot doesn't really have that much meat to go into. I know me and Logan watched a other review on the Mario movie by Some Call Me Johnny, and I think he put it best to where it's a standard Mario plot. It's a Mario movie that has a standard Mario plot, which is, it's funny, and I guess it's really fitting, but yeah, that's the best way to put it. A Mario movie having a Mario plot, which is unless you've played a lot of Mario games, or, you wouldn't exactly know what that means, but basically what I'm trying to say, it's very simple. It's, I don't want to go as far as say cookie cutter, because that sounds insulting, but it's, it is a very simple, basic setup, alley-oop, slam dunk if you do it right type of
it plays setup, things safe for the sake of making fans comfortable, which I think everyone knew that was coming. And that's fine. Mario, what they do at the end of the day is still good, but it is there's not a lot of risk taken in this film,
True.
Yeah, for Mario, and I'm kind of okay with that, I guess, for Mario.
Yeah.
But I do want more, though, for sure. It is definitely a movie that makes you want way more out of it, which is a good thing that it did super well then, because there is going to be a sequel. Why would they not make a sequel? But overall, though, before we get into the movie summary itself, just for my personal, before going into the film and how I had my overlook of it before I went to go see it, I was really in the middle with this one at first. But that's, that's a personal thing with me. I have, this predisposition to, not trust or really put a lot of faith in, video game adaptations, because historically they have been absolute fucking dumpster fires. We're kind of, dipping our toes in an age where video game adaptations are actually pretty good. If not, at least, competent. Because they're, video game adaptations nowadays have actually at least gotten their footing way better than they had in the last couple decades.
Yeah, with Detective Pikachu, Sonic movie. So there's been improvements, for sure.
Yeah. We're on our way up whenever it comes to that genre of storytelling, clearly. But I still have this predisposition to kind of be like, I don't know. It still is in a spot for me. It was I didn't really know what to think about it, and I didn't really know how to feel about it, so I was really indifferent to it. I was kind of in the middle. And overall thoughts before we get into it entirely, though, I thought it was really good, actually. It's kind of odd because I don't really watch movies. I'm not really much of a movie guy, but I really have little to no shits to give about a lot of modern cinema, honestly. Unless it's something I'm super, super interested in. and I want to see, or just something my friends are interested in and want to go see, I'm just not like, hey, let's go see a movie kind of guy, I guess. So I have not a whole lot of basis for, like, a lot of cinema, I guess. So I don't really have massive standards, I guess, because I've seen a lot of people think this movie's kind of mid. But I think it was really good, though. I think it's a really great watch for all ages type of deal. But I'll get more into that as we talk about the movies to give more meat to the video. But I'll hand it over to Dylan before we start with the plot.
Okay. Like I mentioned, I was indifferent just because I don't really give a shit about Mario, even like his games and stuff. I was probably gonna see it, especially because Nate and Logan were gonna see it. So, I didn't care that much about the casting. Some of it was definitely questionable. We went and saw it. It was pretty good. I especially enjoyed the like Kong Kingdom section. And that was probably one of my favorite parts of the movie, honestly, was like the intro to that, because they played Take On Me while a fucking golden gorilla in a blazer like drifted around the Kong Kingdom. He also murdered a guy, just straight up.
Yes.
He threw a banana peel and fucking killed a guy, which was pretty funny. Overall, I liked the movie. It was about what I expected. My main complaint is there was not nearly enough Luigi because they wasted Charlie Day, in my opinion. But the Kong Kingdom was cool. I was down bad for Princess Peach, so yeah, pretty good movie.
All right, well, let's get into the plot, or lack thereof. So what did you guys think of the intro with Bowser stealing the Power Star? I know they call it the Superstar, but I'm going to call it the Power Star because that's what it fucking is.
It's the Power
Penguins.
Star. Ooh,
because I thought it was a pretty damn good intro. I thought it was. I like how they opened up with the airship music from Mario 3. It's pretty chill. It's got a few jokes here and there with them throwing snowballs at everybody, and then it quickly is wrapped up. And we're gonna see that a lot in this movie. Is the scene transitions are quick. We don't spend a lot of time in one place due to how short the movie is.
Yeah.
But I rather enjoyed it. I liked it in the trailer, and when it was in the final movie, I was like, oh yeah, this is about as good as I was hoping it would be in terms of an opening with Bowser.
I mean, yeah. It's a movie that doesn't exactly set and contemplate on scenes much, which I think is okay. It's not exactly, a killer for the movie. But I think it would be nice, but that's mostly to do of, like, it feels like it's a movie that wants to get to the next step fairly quickly, but it doesn't feel like it rushes it too much. Like, it's weird to explain. It feels like it's a movie that's short and, like, sweet and to the point on purpose. It's not it didn't feel like a movie that was trying to fill for time and just hit the hour 30 mark. It was a film that it felt like it wanted to be quick and concise, which I'm fine with that then. But yeah, for the overall like intro scene with Bowser and the Penguins, though, I think it really sets the tone for Bowser very well. Of a nice mix of very menacing, because this is a rather large iteration of Bowser, and one that, even though his design is pretty much the same still, I think he has some good texture to him and nice edges and whatnot that really round out his character whenever it comes like his imposing presence. And of course you have that classic Bowser design, but it has this nice feel of like kind of cool, but also, goofy in a way. I mean, I know Logan mentioned this, and it's a really good comparison. He feels a lot like the Bowser from Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story is kind of the vibe he gives off, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, or Paper Mario, or what other RPGs are out there, Mario.
Well, yeah, the Mario RPG just like edition of Bowser. He kind of has like a a catch-all personality in those games, but and I think Jack Black definitely fits that variety of Bowser the best, where he's kind of this big old goofball, and he likes being a goober, but he's also intimidating still, Like, it's a funny way to describe a character, but he's an intimidating goober, and I find it a very entertaining character trope that I feel like isn't really done a ton in, like, modern media, so it makes him stand out as a character, even though he's older than fucking dirt. Bowser has been there since the first Mario Bros.
Yeah, I thought that it was a strong opening, because you can tell Jack Black's into the role. You can tell that they were really, I don't know if they directly pulled from the RPGs, but I feel like it was really close to the point where it's like, man, there's no way they didn't consider those games when writing Bowser's dialogue.
Honestly,
because
oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, even later in the film when he's like pretending to propose to Princess Peach and like practicing on Kamek, who's not called Kamek in the film, by the way, but it's pretty safe to assume it is Kamek. Like that, I feel like there was a very similar kind of vibe there to Bowser in the RPGs, especially in Side Story. So, what were you gonna say, Dylan?
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think one of the things the intro scene did well is, you know, it showed the Koopa Troopa army, and it, like, consistently, the, like, weapons the different quote-unquote armies in the movie had, I think made sense, because the Koopas, there's a fuck ton of them. You can't really, like, afford to arm them with, like, super cool shit, so they all just had, like, spears and shit. And then the Toad army, where they're weak bitches and they have no range, they had, like, halberds. And then, because they're strong as fuck, the Kongs had giant fucking, like, hammers. So I just appreciated that the armies were equipped with shit that made sense for their respective weaknesses and strengths.
Yeah, it was a really nice detail. And then, after Bowser gets his hands on the star, we immediately cut to, Mario and Luigi in Brooklyn. And I will say, this is a little weird, because I saw this scene in the trailer, right? And he says, now, who's gonna stop me? They changed that line in the final film where he says, now no one can stop me. I kind of wish they left the line alone from the trailer, because, you know, that's just a completely different line. He says, now who's gonna stop me? And then, you know, it would smash cut to Mario and Luigi. I thought that would have been funnier, but I don't know. Maybe they thought that was a cliche joke, so they changed it. I don't know. I had a lot of people see that, like, there's a couple videos on YouTube about it where, like, 30-second clips, you know? And it was before the film came out. I was like, this is exactly how the movie's going to open. And then it does. And I, after seeing those, like, short clips, I was like, damn, it would have been funnier if they just left that line alone. But I'm not super bummed about it, mind you. It's just a little nitpick, but we smash cut to Mario and Luigi in Brooklyn, and it's playing the 80s intro song from the Super Mario Bros. Super Show, and I did not think for even a second I would ever hear that song in the modern age. It's like, what the fuck?
I mean, it's really funny. It's really funny to think that children watching the film, because of course it's a kids movie. There's going to be a lot of kids watching the movie, which they should. It's a fantastic kids film. But it's really funny that, like, kids are going to watch this movie, and they're going to listen to that song and think, oh, that's a really cool song. And their parents are going to just sit there like, oh my God, we're the Mario Brothers implements a game. We're not like the Bros. And they just like start having PTSD. And like their kids are like, Mom, what's going on? And it's like, they're not like the brothers who get all the fame, Timmy. Shut the fuck up and listen to this jam.
No, it was great, because I know kids are not going to get that. Some of the adults may not even get that, because even my parents never watched, like, the Mario cartoon in the 80s, so, I mean, it may be a bit of a stretch, but I'm sure, you know, you can find the whole series on YouTube, so if you're ever curious, just look up Super Mario Bros. Super Show, you'll get it, don't worry. It was such a wonderful pull, like, and that really sets the mood for the entire movie, is, like, this movie's filled to the brim with nothing but nostalgia, and I fucking love it, because it does exactly what it needs to do.
Yeah, from some people's perspectives, you can count that maybe as like a weakness. Because I know some people have brought it up in a negative light. It was like, well, this movie's just going to be jam-packed full to the gills with a bunch of Mario references instead of any real substance. And I get that. I really do. Like, I understand how that can be a crutch, and it can be something that, like, the writers would use just, you know, to make the people happy because, you know, there's a lot of longtime Mario fans there. But also, I am a whore for references in modern media, so, man, I don't care. It was really cool to watch regardless, so I think it's just whatever. I think it was really cool with all the pulls they made, because they made a lot of pulls. There was at one point I saw a Sniffit, and I was like, holy shit, it's a Sniffit! And then I couldn't shut up about the Sniffit, because, like, man, I would not think that many people would remember a Sniffit nowadays.
I feel like people who complain about all the nostalgia stuff are just, you know, it's a fair assessment, but it's just, you know, it's one of those things where I feel like it's a bit unfair to just do that sort of thing in terms of complaining, because it's a Mario movie. Why the fuck wouldn't there be things referencing the games? You know, that's exactly why nobody liked the Bob Hoskins film. And I say it like he directed the film. I know he was just Mario, but the 1993 live-action Mario movie, no one fucking liked it because it was so different from what the games were. It had nothing to do with anything. You know, it wasn't a Mario movie. You know, all this stuff. Granted, the Mario Brothers rap is a pull. That is a deep cut reference, but still. All these things are part of the series' identity. It'd be like watching a fucking Skyrim film with no Dragonborn, you know? You gotta have the power-ups. You gotta have all the little nods and references to the game. You have to have the game's music. That's just what Mario is. Especially with a series that doesn't exactly have depth, you know, outside of, say, the RPGs. You gotta have all those things. Because that's part of what makes Mario, Mario. And that's why people like it. I mean, again, it's not that the complaint is wrong. It's just, I personally find it would be a bit confusing in this case specifically. If we were talking about a different series, we could, you know, have that discussion. But I feel like with Mario in particular, I feel like it's like, what do you want? Like, what would you rather them do?
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, it's also a setup to where, you know, Mario hasn't had a movie in a couple of decades, right? So,
yeah,
I think it's only fitting as like, well, let's try to cover some ground then here, because you have a shit fuck ton of games and like projects to cover since the movie that we were talking about earlier with like Bob Hoskins and whatnot. Speaking of which, with Bob Hoskins, homie said he would never be in another Nintendo project again, and he took that to his fucking grave.
He did. God bless and God rest his soul.
Can't say I
love Bob Hoskins. I mean, yeah, it was him and oh goodness, I forgot Luigi's name. John Leguizamo, something like that.
John Leguizamo or something like that.
Yeah. They both went on record saying that it was probably the worst movie or project in general of their acting careers. I mean, that leaves a sour taste in your mouth because I mean that movie is historically fucking disgusting in terms of quality. So it's awful. So I don't blame him. You don't want to be remembered for something like that, something that was so horrible. Back to the film. I really enjoyed the Brooklyn section of the movie. In fact, that's one of the main reasons why I think the film should have been longer. It's because I really, really enjoyed Mario and Luigi's interaction in Brooklyn. Like, just running around the city and just doing plumber shit, you know? It starts off with their commercial for their new plumbing business, and that's when it plays the Mario rap. I thought it was super charming. I thought it was wonderful. It was one of the teaser trailers that they released a few months before the film released, and I was like, oh, cool, it's their little that wasn't just a trailer, that's in the movie, you know, it's their commercial. That's really cool. And we also get our little nod to Charles Martinet here because they make fun of the Italian cadence, you know, the over-exaggerated Italian cadence that Charles has. And they mention is like, do you think we overdid it on the voices, Luigi? And then Charles Martinet's character is Giuseppe, or Jumpman. You know, he says in his classic Mario voice, is like, no, I think they're perfect. And so I had a really good laugh at that when I first watched the movie. And I think it's probably one of my favorite jokes in the entire film because it's like, oh, that's sweet. They gave Charles his little nod there.
I think the best thing about the Brooklyn section was because me and Logan saw the movie twice because we saw it the first time, but Nathan didn't see it with us, and then we saw it the second time. The first time we saw it, there was a lot more people in the theater, and there was kids, and the kids laughed quite loudly, I might add, at the nearly attempted murder of a dog trying to attack them in Brooklyn.
Yes. Yeah.
So that was cool. There's a lot of references to straight up or attempted murder in the movie, which is funny.
They also call it a hellhound, which I was not expected for a rated G movie.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
I mean,
obviously,
like,
hell in certain contexts isn't really
Bowser,
a curse word, but was that name?
I mean, wasn't there a point whenever Bowser was just like, I want you to kill them? It's like, I was like, hey,
Yeah.
there are kids here.
Well, let's see. There's the attempted murder of the dog. There is a straight-up murder in the Donkey Kong Kingdom, and Princess Peach commits regicide by killing King Bob-omb. So, you know, those are all things that happen in the movie.
Not to mention, they definitely killed a lot of Koopas throughout the film.
Yeah, no, a lot of people
that Rainbow
died.
Red section. The Rainbow Road section, there was a lot of, car explosions and throwing shells and such. The blue shell speaks for itself. But yeah, the section in Brooklyn was really nice. And it also kind of had like this almost like nod to the 2D nature of the side-scroller games where Mario and Luigi are running through this construction site. And it's like from a side-scroller perspective. And I thought that was really funny. How Mario just knocks over a bunch of shit so Luigi doesn't have to do all the acrobatic stuff that Mario's doing to get to the other side of town so they can get to their first client. And I didn't catch this the first time. Nate pointed this out to me when we saw the film the second time. Luigi's ringtone is the fucking GameCube startup noise, which is really funny.
Yeah, where the little cubes kind of like circle around and then do the bump, and then people make memes about it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the diner they were in because it was Punch-Out. It was all the Punch-Out characters on the wall. Some of them were ripped straight from Punch-Out Wii, it looked like, but it was still really nice.
Yeah.
And
the first
we
one
got
I
to meet
saw was Glass Joe. It's like, I know I saw it, and I was like, holy shit, it's Glass Joe.
Oh yeah, that was really cool. I would have loved if they had like a Punch-Out character working the register or something, but the nod was really cool. And then we met Spike. As far as I'm aware, wasn't an actual character in Wrecking Crew, the NES game, but that's basically what he exists to be. Is a nod to how Mario was in that game, because Nintendo had this thing back in the 80s on the NES where Mario was just kind of in all their projects, like how he was the referee in Punch-Out, and then he was also in Wrecking Crew as the playable character. So I don't know if I never played Wrecking Crew. I can't say if Spike is an actual thing. Maybe he was player 2 or something, but there's a lot of NES references because they know the audience they're trying to reach. Besides kids, is going to be a bunch of people in their 40s, so or me who acts like they're in their 40s. But the Mario and Luigi head to their first client, and it ends disastrously because they just have bad luck, I guess. And the dog of the owners, like Dylan said, not only tries to kill Mario and Luigi, but they nearly kill it at some point during the repair job to the leaky sink. And unfortunately, it blows up in their face, and I'd imagine they don't get paid for that, and they also have to pay for the damages. And we get a glimpse at Mario's family, and holy shit, Mario has a huge family.
They also all look like Mario.
They do. They all look like Mario, and some of them look like that one cousin with the 5 o'clock shadow kind of looked like Luigi or Uncle or whoever the fuck that was.
They all got some giant grapefruit noses too. That's for sure.
It's the family crest, I believe. It's just they got the schnoz.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I thought it was really nice. That's another reason, again, why the film should have been longer, is we could have had more time with these guys, because I thought it would have been interesting to see. It's pretty safe to assume the whole family kind of looks down at Mario and feels like he's kind of dragging Luigi along for the ride, but we don't get an idea of, are Mario and Luigi only close with each other, or do they even care about the rest of their family? What's the story there? And I feel like that, like a lot of things in this film, there was no time for that to literally...
Yeah.
kind of marinate,
Yeah, but I do get the vibe if their entire family died in a house fire, they'd barely blink.
Right, that's exactly what the film gives off, and it's do they really feel like that, or is do they care?
It'd be very funny.
I mean, it was definitely a good scene though, especially where, Mario's dad, they didn't really give him a name, but the way he was talking to Mario the way he talked to him was very patronizing, in a sense of he clearly wants him to be successful in his life, but he 100% just got to tell Mario to his face, I think the path you're taking right now is the wrong one. And Mario is like, yeah, thanks, Dad, I appreciate that. He just walks off oh god, that kind of hurts, because I've felt that before, where I just kind of at one point or another thought, well shit, they don't believe in me.
Yeah.
But I believe one of the uncles in that scene is also voiced by John DiMaggio and Rino Romano. John DiMaggio speaks for himself. He was Jake in Adventure Time. He's Marcus Phoenix in Gears of War. He's done a shitload of stuff. And then there's Rino Romano, who, if I'm not mistaken, was Batman in The Batman. So they, again, a lot of really cool, prolific voice actors in the film playing a bunch of background characters. I thought that was nice how they got a lot of voices I recognize as well. So after that, Mario and Luigi kind of get a window of opportunity. Mario's playing Kid Icarus, which I thought, wow, I did not see that one coming. I expected him to play something like fucking Punch-Out or something, but not Kid Icarus. But anyway, shit goes down in Brooklyn to where there's this huge storm drain clog or whatever, and there's a flood going on. Mario and Luigi find the source of it and are trying to fix a pressure valve. For whatever reason, end up further underground, and for whatever reason, there's just a pipe there that leads to the Mushroom Kingdom. Yeah. And this is sort of where the film starts to really, kick off, because That's when we get to meet Toad, we get to meet Princess Peach, and they, I guess this is because again they're playing it safe and they wanted to do the whole we have to save someone from Bowser's clutches story, and they just didn't want it to be Peach this time because I guess they were just trying just a little bit to break the mold. They decide to separate Mario and Luigi ends up in Bowser's kingdom through the warp zone.
Yeah, which
I didn't think that was a good idea.
Yeah,
I think they could have had. I think they could have had Mario, Luigi both in the Mushroom Kingdom meet Princess Peach. We didn't need a kidnapping at all. You know, like the penguins and like the toads and whatever other prisoners Bowser has that we see later in the film would have been good enough. It's like Bowser's just terrorizing and kidnapping leaders of other kingdoms. That should have been enough. Peach or Luigi didn't need to be, the goal, I think, because that reduces Luigi's screen time. And like Dylan said, it kind of feels like they almost wasted their Charlie Day, you know?
I
especially
would
with how good the relationship was between them.
It's in a state where, they really did just kind of, butcher the amount of time Luigi had on screen due to this choice. And I get it. It's a Mario plot. Gotta have somebody to save. And, to a degree, that's fine. Like, that's okay. I get it. Mario movie, Mario plot. I said that earlier. But still, it just, it sucks. It really does suck. Especially after the Brooklyn scenes, like the Brooklyn part of the film, really built up the bond between Mario and Luigi. And then you separate them. And I understand that building up that bond, gives Mario the courage and the reason to fight Bowser to get Luigi back. I get that his motivation to go up against Bowser in the first place is that. But also, it's like, man, now we lost Luigi. Now, it did give us a good scene of Luigi in, like, a darker part of the Mushroom Kingdom that Bowser already had under control, and with the dry bones, and then he goes into a, like, castle that has, the Shy Guys and the Sniffet that I freaked out about. That was a cool scene. But then after that, you really get no more Luigi. Like, he does show up, like, once or twice from, like, a sidebar scene where he gets taken to Bowser, and the interrogation scene with him and Bowser is great. We'll get to that in a moment. But then he's a prisoner, and that is all. I was really expecting him to, like, try to escape or something, or, like, do some cool or, at least comedic shit while in the prison. But he gets one scene in the prison where he just kind of hangs out with the prisoners, and they don't even talk that much, and then all of a sudden we're back to Mario shenanigans. I think that Luigi's overall presence was, cut way too short in the film.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly how I feel, because the Paper Mario games did something with, the traditional Peach's Captured stuff, where you actually got to play as Princess Peach, and she attempts to escape. It's like she's competent. She's like, I ain't doing this shit. They could have had, again, because of the film's short length, and we're definitely gonna be beating that into the ground. Because of the film's short length, it's harder to make that work. But they really set themselves up for a problem by making Luigi be kidnapped at all. That's probably one of the weaker parts of the film for me. Is just because I felt like that was unnecessary. But we get Luigi in the darker part of the Mushroom Kingdom, and what I believe is a reference to Luigi's Mansion, just because of the aesthetic going on there.
Yeah.
But Luigi gets kidnapped, taken to Bowser, and then Mario, of course, because he's Mario and he has all the luck in the world, he ends up in the Mushroom Kingdom and meets Toad. And I will say, Keegan-Michael Key killed it. Love him as Toad. I think he did a voice that was actually really enjoyable without being ear-grating. But he's still very loud and in your face and very bombastic. I really liked it. And then they make their way to Peach's castle, and the rest of the film here starts to play out a bit more how you'd expect. Instead of it being Peach to rescue, it's Luigi and the rest of the Mushroom Kingdom as a result. Mario and Peach and Toad embark on the journey. I think that the opening scene, like going through the Mushroom Kingdom, was really fun. I think that they even make fun of like the multiple pipe puzzle there, and meeting Peach though was there was a little weird thing about it for me. Was they have all these toads in the film. Mm-hmm. They're nameless toads. What I was confused by is that there's a toad who's like sort of her advisor, the one with the glasses.
Yeah, the
smart one. Who has the deeper
one.
voice for some reason. Yeah. Why didn't they just use Toadsworth? Because, that's kind of what he's supposed to be. And then they just made him a nameless blue toad. Because he's like an older toad that like was Peach's caretaker when she was a child. He's like he has a brown color scheme and he has a mustache. And they don't use him. Like, huh?
I don't know. Maybe he's on.
Was he too much of a pull? Like,
maybe he's on sabbatical at Al Delfino. Who knows?
Yeah, it was really.
I mean,
it was really odd.
Maybe, but I will say, speaking as a casual fan of Mario, that is something where it's like, I would not have known the difference whether they did or didn't make him Toadsworth. I didn't know who the fuck Toadsworth was until just now. So,
I mean, that's fair.
Keep that in mind.
Well, I don't even think it's like, oh, they ruins the movie. I just think it would have helped made that character stick out more. It's like, oh, it's just a blue toad with glasses. Whereas Toadsworth actually has a unique design,
Yeah.
I think it would just been nice for visual sake, besides just being a reference.
Maybe they were going to, but it went like $10 over budget, and they're like, no.
Maybe. I mean, the film. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if 90% of the budget went into the. I mean, no, a lot of the budget went into the voice cast. But,
yeah.
A lot of the budget also had to go into the animation because holy shit, this film's beautiful.
I mean,
and it really starts to pop when we get to the Mushroom Kingdom.
Yeah, it has a nice color scheme and whatnot because it's a movie that really gets to show off all of its animation skill because you have Brooklyn, so you have like angular like scenes with all the buildings and like the streets and whatnot. That's a little bit darker, but it has a nice like colors and tinges to it because of the lights and whatnot. They have the Mushroom Kingdom, which is like very bright, very vibrant. But then you have like the Darklands that Luigi was in whenever he got captured. Very dark and moody, but it has like nice glow lighting from the lava and stuff that's all around the place. It's a movie that has enough unique scene setups where it can show off all of its stripes because it has so many like different unique locales. It's definitely a breathtaking movie just because it has the ability to show off all of that.
Yes. Yeah, it's probably one of my favorite things about this film is the production value. And, it helps that the actual film's enjoyable, but, like, the way it looks and the way it sounds is great because we haven't even talked about the music yet. Holy shit. I mean, I mentioned the airship theme, but holy shit, the music. The remixes and variations of all the game music were beautiful. It was mind-blowing. And I loved catching it every time they came on and discerning, like, ooh, is this a remix of this or that? Because they have elements of some other songs in it, and it's just, ooh, my goodness. I was wet the entire time. But Mario, stumbles his way through the castle. He meets Peach, and very quickly she's on board helping him simply because he's like, I just want to save my brother. I just want to save him. Peach, and that's one thing I like about Peach in this film is not only do they make her more competent, they did so without making her the really uptight leader type. She's actually just someone who like really cares about other people. She has a big heart, and she just wants to help. She hears Mario's plea, and she's like, well, sure. It's like, I'll help you. It's like, but you just need to show me your stuff, and so you don't slow us down, because, I don't want to send you out there to just die.
I mean...
And then we have the training sequence, again, filled to the brim with references of with the games. And I feel like this is one where more casual fans of Mario are really going to get a laugh, because I showed my mom one of the trailers that had the training scene in it. And it has that part of the scene where Mario... He finally makes this jump across the moving platforms, and he lands on one of the donuts that, like, fall when you stand on them too long. And my mom's like, yeah, that's exactly how it is. So I feel like that's something, like, people who don't play a lot of Mario are going to really enjoy. But this is also where we get Holding Out for a Hero playing in the background. Again, wasn't expecting it. Kind of came out of nowhere, but... I'd say it fit the training scene all right. I liked it. What did you guys think of the training sequence?
I thought it was entertaining. It was pretty funny. Because, I like a little bit of physical humor, a little bit of slapstick. Nothing wrong with Mario getting chomped by a mechanical plant and then, falling to his doom in the water.
Yeah, holy shit. I wonder if that's worse than being bit by an actual piranha plant. Because, like, that's a lot of metal clamping down on you.
Yeah.
But afterward, Mario Peach, sorry, got to get used to saying that, and Toad make their way to getting towards the Kong Kingdom to ask for help from Cranky Kong and the Kongs, because they're going to need a bit more muscle if they're going to take on Bowser's army. And they head their way there. We get a bunch of beautiful visuals at this point. This is probably the only time the movie breathes, really, like chill out for a bit. And we just kind of get a bunch of like visual things to admire. There's a bunch of Yoshis running around. They go across like the Cheep Cheep Bridge. They go through the mountains with the clouds. It was really a really nice section of the film. And this is also where we get one of our rare Luigi cuts, where Luigi talks to Bowser and he gets interrogated. And it was again, Charlie Day as Luigi, extremely funny because of Bowser asking, about Mario. He's like, well, do princesses find him attractive? And then Luigi says, well, if they have good taste, they do. I thought that was, again, that's one of Luigi's best moments.
Yeah.
But it's really hard to pick considering Luigi's just good in every scene he's in.
I will say, Luigi does have one of the arguably most impressive feats of strength in the entire movie, and it's a callback to a similar maneuver he does at the very beginning back in Brooklyn, but I'll wait a little bit till we're at the climax of the film to go into depth on that.
All right. So Luigi ends up, caged and put away in the dungeon, and we find the Penguin King, we find all these other characters, and a Luma from Mario Galaxy, which I wasn't expecting if they were going to do that or not, who has a serious downer look on life. And again, I question how this got into a kid's movie at times, because I mean, this Luma's straight up suicidal.
I mean, yeah, he just talks about how, because they're in a prison, and apparently he's been in prison there for a while, and he's like, the only thing that'll let us go is the sweet release of death.
Yeah, I was really taken aback. Again, the way the film surprised me was great, and I thought it was really, really funny. But again, a brief scene, and then we get to the Kong Kingdom, where Mario, Peach, and Toad make their way there. And Dylan brought this up earlier. They meet a Kong at the door who drives them through, and it plays Aha's Take on Me, which was fine. I enjoyed it. I kind of wish they kept the original song they were going to use, which is the Donkey Kong theme.
Right.
It was still a good scene. Again, that one Kong slipping on the banana and fucking dying was fucking amazing.
Yeah, homie just murdering another Kong, just like, see you later, nerd, and he throws a banana and just blows him
insane.
up.
It was insane. I thought it was pretty fucking hilarious. So as we get to the end of that section, we meet Cranky Kong, and we get to, they make their plea towards him. And he gives them, obviously he's an asshole, so he's not going to give it to him for free. So he has Mario fight Donkey Kong in a bit of an arena. And this is another one of the highlights of the film, is Mario fighting Donkey Kong, because, that's kind of an age-old thing. Mario and Donkey Kong just don't like each other because Donkey Kong's an asshole. And I gotta say, how does Mario not die at this part? Because, I mean, Donkey Kong beats the ever-loving fuck out of him.
Does.
Yeah.
I mean,
God.
Donkey Kong full-on tried attempted murder against Mario. Granted, Mario gets back at him because he sends him through a steel fucking girder somehow, but still. It was a brutal fight.
Everyone stopped talking to send each other Discord messages.
Yeah.
So I know the audience.
Back, just a small background thing.
Yeah, the audience is not going to hear this, of course, because it's on Discord. But for me, it was just complete silence, and then boop, boop,
Discord.
Boop.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right, hold on.
We'll cut that.
Off cam. This is gonna get cut. Dylan, if you gotta go to the bathroom, go to the bathroom. We could just cut.
No, we're finishing the fucking movie.
Dylan's about to shit himself.
Cut that.
So Mario and Donkey Kong, the fight's really fun. Again, I like how there's a bunch of references to the Donkey Kong series. We get a few background appearances by other Kongs like Diddy, Dixie, and I think that was Chunky next to them. Not everyone's there, but they got a couple of the ones that people were gonna recognize, so that was good. And we get our we get our Seth Rogen laugh, which
it's just Seth Rogen's
it's
laugh.
not edited. It's just his laugh. Yeah, God, I don't. Everyone made the joke. I didn't think they were actually gonna do it. But again, bunch of eye candy for fans. There's a section where Mario gets shrunken because he eats a mushroom, doesn't realize it's different, and ends up mini for a little bit. And I'm gonna question something here, because Mario takes a pretty bad hit when he's shrunken, but he grows back to normal when he gets hit. In the games, you just fucking die. I mean, it would be pretty fucking hilarious if Mario just died at that point in the movie. Like,
just be metal.
It's like, well, I mean, he's tiny. What'd you expect?
I mean, there were definitely several points where I'm like, how did that character not die? But especially Mario.
They beat the shit out of Mario.
They really do.
I find it slightly odd.
He's like Rocky.
That they never decided to use the 1-up mushroom in any way in the film. I just kind of thought about that.
I can see it now in the second film. Mario's going to take a really bad hit and die in Luigi's arms, and then he has 1-up mushroom and revives him. Calling it right now.
Probably. I mean, let's be
right
honest.
now.
From the RPG games, baby.
I mean, yeah. I mean, why not? I feel like if they're going to do it, that's exactly how they would fucking do it. Then we have Mario long story short. I mean, it's really a fight scene's so weird to talk about because, I mean, you really have to see it.
But we're also going to leave out details because we want you to see the movie. I mean, it's a movie worth seeing, honestly. Yes. I don't know why you're watching this if you haven't seen the fucking film,
but
yeah, that's
Mario manages to overpower Donkey Kong through, shenanigans. I guess I won't say it because I'll let you guys see the movie. I just thought we were just spoiling the plot rotten like we always do, but we'll keep it moving for the sake of keep it moving. Yep. So Mario and Donkey Kong, the fight finishes. Mario manages to win through power-up shenanigans, and then the Kongs decide to help Peach. And we get our Mario Kart nod, which I'm really glad they did, because I feel like if you don't reference one of the damn spin-offs, that's kind of half the point, because there are some people who only play like one Mario game in their life and they're good, but every fucking body on the planet knows what the fuck Mario Kart and Mario Party are, and you had to do at least one of them for the movie.
It'd be funny if they reference like one of the Mario sports games, like they get to the final showdown with Bowser, and then Mario is like, "How about we play a game of baseball for it?"
Yeah, right. But I really liked all the visual references with the carts. Toad riding the giant fucking monster truck was great, because that's exactly what I do when I play a light character in Mario Kart. And we got Peach's biker outfit. I'm sure everyone was horny on main for that one.
Yes.
we get our little we get Rainbow Road. We get even the original Rainbow Road music playing for just a little bit as they enter the place, and I thought that was awesome. There's the gliders, there's the speed pads, all that shit. And we have this really, really awesome action sequence of Bowser's forces attacking Mario on Rainbow Road and the Kongs. One of the little plot details I would have liked them to elaborate on was, how did Bowser know where they were at all times? Because he knew they were going to go talk to the Kongs. He knew they were on Rainbow Road trying to sneak up on them. I assumed, I was like, oh, there's a mole. Like someone's on Bowser's team, but is like, hidden with Mario and Peach and Toad. It's like, who is it? And then nothing happens. It's like, okay. He just knows.
I think I'm assuming because he has magic. Shit tons of spies, and also magic.
Yeah, I mean, true. I just, it was one of those small things that, like, oh, I wonder how he knows that. But this film is no stranger to just having plot like details that aren't really elaborated on. For example, right before they get to the Kong Kingdom, Peach lets on that she doesn't know where she's from. She ended up in the Mushroom Kingdom at a young age, and they raised her as their princess. But again, that's probably just setting up for a sequel, but it's never really elaborated on within the film itself. But anyway, after the cart sequence, we get our blue shell reference, and oh my god, I was pissing myself when that happened. And the film from here starts to kind of just get to the point. Peach, all the Kongs get taken away, and then Peach and Toad make their way back to the Mushroom Kingdom, start evacuating the citizens, and Peach decides she's going to make one final stand against Bowser just to give her people time to get away. And of course, our lovable Toad doesn't leave Peach, because he has a frying pan, goddammit, and he's going to use it. Mario and Donkey Kong have a nice little heart-to-heart sequence. It's not something super we need to go super in detail with. But I thought it was nice, especially that fucking like light-skinned stare they give each other when they realize they can use a rocket barrel. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
When they were inside the belly of a moray eel.
Of an eel.
A big ass fucking moray eel.
I was really I think one of the best parts of that scene is when Mario and Donkey Kong are arguing, and they almost have a moment where they relate to each other, where they're both looked down on from their fathers. And Donkey Kong's like, well, your dad's right. You are a disappointment.
That kind of hit me. It's like, well, your dad's right. It's like, whoa, you can't just... Donkey Kong!
You don't just say that. That's not how this is supposed to work.
Well, uncalled
No, I
for.
thought it was great. But as the film reaches its climax, Mario and Donkey Kong escape on a rocket barrel.
Just like in Donkey Kong Country. It looks so cool.
Yeah. They have a few more sequences here and there of them working together, and Donkey Kong gets a fire flower. Holy shit!
Donkey Kong.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yes.
And then I mean, I wasn't seeing that one coming.
And the scene of them like fighting up the Mushroom Kingdom, trying to get Bowser up top in the wedding with Peach. Absolutely awesome. It also had like we mentioned in Brooklyn way back, whenever there's like the side-scrolling type of camera view, it had the same thing going on with Donkey Kong in the background and Mario in the foreground, just kicking the shit out of some Koopas. Yeah,
that was a great like nod to Country Returns. If it was intentional anyway, I thought that was really nice. And then, that's when Bowser finally reveals his plan is just to marry Peach, and Peach understandably has a very negative reaction to that, but obviously they strong arm her into it.
It is worth noting she wears a choker to the wedding.
Yes, because that's Bowser's thing, because he's also wearing a choker. He loves spikes, which kind of makes Bowser seem a little freaky.
Spike.
Yeah. What did you guys think of, because we kind of skimmed over it. Do we dare talk about the Peaches scene?
Oh. I completely forgot. Yeah, because I kind of forget where that comes in the movie, but it sticks in my brain very well.
It's during when they're making their way to the Kong Kingdom. I just didn't know where to put it in.
Yeah.
Jack Black delivers a great song as Bowser.
I mean, it was a Jack Black song. Like, it just felt like Tenacious D wrote that song.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Like, if it was played on acoustic guitar by Kyle Gass, it probably just would have been a Tenacious D song at that point. I've seen a lot of edits where people put "fuck you" gently over that, which surprisingly works really well. And also, little nod, something for you to look out for in the movie. The piano brand is called Ludwig von Koopa. The wedding comes to, and Bowser puts out his corny line of "love makes a guy come out of his shell." God, that fucking side eye look he gives Peach. I don't know if I'm uncomfortable or if I'm hard. I don't know what's going on.
How are you gonna deny the Riz?
The immaculate Riz on this man is sickening, but also intriguing. But we get one more pretty intense action sequence with Princess Peach, and I loved this part myself when this is when she murders King Bob-omb. And she goes absolutely ballistic on the whole wedding with an ice flower, which I really loved. And she manages to save the prisoners from being sacrificed in her honor.
Including Luigi.
Including Luigi. Mario and Donkey Kong join the party, and they sort of wreck the entire wedding. Yeah. Mario manages to save Luigi and the rest of the prisoners.
Because he does have a Tanuki suit on, so he can fly.
Yeah.
And then Luigi, after he saves Luigi, he's like, what, are you wearing a bear suit or something?
I was like, what? He's like, are you a furry? I don't know if I'm ready for this conversation. But the gang is finally all together, and this leads to our final sequence. Bowser decides to just fuck it. If I can't have the princess, fuck the Mushroom Kingdom.
We're gonna nuke a giant bitch.
Fucking bullet bill. Mario manages to stop the bullet bill, But unfortunately, and probably the most confusing thing about this movie, decides to lead the Bullet Bill into the pipe that leads to his home in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
He's probably I'm gonna bomb them bitches who wronged me.
I mean, like, I don't know if Mario went school shooter there for a second, or if he just honestly didn't realize that was the same pipe. So, granted, it doesn't have a negative effect on Brooklyn initially, but somehow blowing up the pipe managed to suck the whole Bowser Castle, like, airship shit into Brooklyn. And so Bowser's just like, fuck it, I'll do it myself, and starts beating the shit out of everyone.
Yeah.
And probably the most brutal scene in the movie.
Yeah, I mean, like, he's going for blood now. He wants Mario dead.
Yeah, he
even gives him the tail swipe.
And the only reason he doesn't immediately kill Mario is because Peach and Donkey Kong managed to get his attention and hold him off for a little bit.
Yeah, he beats the fuck out of Donkey Kong, too. That fucking face he makes was punching.
I feel like they gave Donkey Kong a very unfair shake. I feel like he could have done better than he did.
I don't know. Something about that face he makes is like, ooh, when Bowser punches him in the face while he's, like, on the ground.
Yeah.
But Mario has his hero's journey moment and decides, fuck it, I'm gonna kick your ass. And Bowser, he tries to go for the Power Star, because, that's the thing. He tries to go for the Power Star, and Bowser tries to, like, light him up.
The fire breath.
And then I believe this is the point you wanted to bring up, Dylan, where Luigi manages to save Mario.
They breathe Bowser breathes fire at Mario, and Luigi had been hiding in a dumpster, like, as soon as, like, Bowser, like, began his assault on Brooklyn. Luigi, like, took cover in a dumpster. And Mario's about to get burned right before he can grab the star. Luigi pops out of nowhere using a manhole cover, which those things are a couple 100 pounds, by the way, and he holds back the, like, flames. And the thing is getting so hot, it's almost becoming molten at the edges. And then him and Mario grab the star. And the reason I think that's so cool is because when they're trying to fix the bathroom in Brooklyn at the beginning of the movie, and the dog tries to fuck them up, before that happens, the water bursts out of a pipe and Luigi blocks it by using a mirror as a shield. And now he uses a fucking sewer lead, which is like 250 pounds, I think, as a shield. I just thought it was very cool.
And there's a very nice callback to something Mario said a while back. We didn't really mention it because it was like, small dialogue, but at one point, when they were being transported to the Mushroom Kingdom, they grabbed hands because they're trying to stay together, and Mario's like, as long as we're together, we're invincible, or something. Either that, or, like, we're untouchable. I can't remember what he said.
Yeah, we'll be okay.
We'll be okay. But then, during that scene that Dylan mentioned where he's holding the manhole cover, he looks back at Mario while holding up the fire, and he's like, it's like you said, as long as we're together, we'll be okay. And for some reason, that kind of hit, not gonna lie.
It was a nice scene. Although, I think, I like to think, because Luigi's always scared, Dylan, I think he just has constant adrenaline kicking in whenever he needs it.
That's fair.
Because earlier in the movie, when they're trying to fix the drain right before they head to the Mushroom Kingdom, Mario has to use a crowbar or something to pry the manhole cover up. Luigi just lifts that bitch with his fucking hands. So Luigi's clearly the strong-armed one in the family.
Well, it's worth noting, the only time I've ever seen a manhole cover lid be used, besides from Luigi, is I think the Turtles have used them before, and obviously the Turtles are strong as fuck.
Yes.
And I saw, in one of the Planet of the Apes films, a fucking gorilla throws one at a helicopter, but it's a fucking gorilla. Luigi is apparently on the same strength level as someone like Raphael and a goddamn gorilla, so there you go.
Yeah, the turtles shoot them shits like frisbees, or shoot them as projectiles out of the fucking turtle van, which is horrifying if you're a foot ninja. I'm sure you'll never walk again. But the boys manage to get their hands on the Power Star and proceed to smash Brothers the fuck out of Bowser's face, because holy shit, they spike him and then they stomp on his face so hard to where his whole body flips over, and that couldn't have been fun. I'm pretty sure they broke Bowser's jaw a couple times during that sequence. But I thought it was a really, really great scene. And Luigi finally gets, kick some ass. I thought that was great. But they put Bowser in his place, and the entire city of Brooklyn, sees Mario and Luigi at the center of all of it, and they do their family proud. So, Mario kind of feels better about himself at this point. He's like, oh, I finally got my father's approval in a way, even though it wasn't doing what I wanted to do exactly. So they shrink up Bowser with a mini shroom. They lock him in a jar, hopefully for less nefarious purposes than what some of you fucking degenerates are thinking. And that's sort of where the film ends. We cut to Mario and Luigi living in the Mushroom Kingdom as plumbers. And this point is where the sequel would kick in, I suppose. We get a post-credits scene of a Yoshi egg in Brooklyn cracking open. And what?
Nathan just disconnected. Fuck it, we can finish the pod. It doesn't matter.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Well, the reason why this worries me, for a couple of reasons. One, there are Yoshis in the film. Two, that's how the 1993 movie opens, and that makes me a little uncomfortable.
No, I think that's gonna be great. I look forward to it.
So, any final thoughts, Dylan, about the ending or just the movie overall?
Before we wrap up? Movie was great. You should definitely watch it if you haven't already. Granted, I don't know why you would watch a full review to this point without watching it. Watch it. It's a good movie. I think the sequel has the potential to be even better. More Luigi and Donkey Kong next time. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Yeah. I think I really enjoyed it, and I'm really happy I can say that a video game movie that doesn't suck, which again, like we mentioned, is becoming more prevalent, but I really liked it. Go see it, and I hope the sequel's good. Yeah, that about wraps it up. So if you need any updates, we're back. Go find us on Twitter if it's still around by the time this is uploaded, and get some updates. If there's anything else Nathan needs to say, I think he's already said it at this point. So have a good night, everybody.
Bye.
I think. Hi, Nathan. We did. I haven't cut yet if your audio's still recording, if you want to say anything. Your lap... I'm finishing my drink before I hit stop. Nathan's laptop died. He thought movie was very good. See previous parts of pod for Nathan's opinion. Have a good night, everybody.